If you are having a panic attack right now, I am here to help. I'm going to walk you through some exercises. So, the first thing I want to ask you to do is to bring your attention to your feet, wherever your feet are right now. If you're in a chair, feel your feet on the ground. If you're laying down, walking, wherever you are, just bring all of your attention to your feet. What do you feel? Are your feet in a sock? Are they in a shoe? Feel the fabric or feel the floor. Really notice what your feet can feel. Roll your foot a little bit on the ground right now. Just kind of really notice. You can roll it, you can move your toes. Really thinking about how your feet are feeling. And then while I talk right now a little bit, I just want you to give yourself a bit of a self hug and stay with me. I'll explain a little bit later why we're doing what we're doing, but for right now, the most important thing is to help lower the physiological response you're having. So, we are going to do things to lower that physiological response. The self hug can be great. You can notice what the fabric feels like of your shirt, or if your hands are on your skin, do they feel cold, clammy, hot? Just notice with as little judgment as possible. And if you're watching this because you're worried you are going to have a panic attack, these exercises can still be helpful. And for you as well, the best thing to do right now is to lower those physiological anxiety symptoms. So you can keep your arms like this if it's comfortable or not, does not matter. It's okay, whatever you want. But I'd like you to take a moment and look around your room and find three things that are blue. Just right now, look around. You can look at my background. Find three things that are blue and name them. You can say the name out loud if you're in a place where you can do that, or just say it to yourself, or you can type it in the comments. What are three things that are blue? And then bring to mind your favorite color or one of your favorite colors. And again, I would like you to look around your surroundings, wherever you are, outside, inside, any place, and see if you can find a couple of objects in that color. And again, just taking a minute to look around. So, one of my favorite colors is a certain type of green, and it's in a fabric I have over there, which is very nice. And then I just noticed it's in a little card on my desk. So, as we go through these, if one of them doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. Just stay with me and we'll move on to the next one. So, for right now, I would like you to sort of keep your shoulders straight and turn your head to the left and then turn your head to the right. And then again, just and gently, we're not doing this to stretch or aggravate anything. Just turn your head gently to the left. Notice what you see. Just notice. Turn your head to the right. Notice what you see. Look up. Notice. And bring your eyes back to center. And then gently look down. And just notice. And then back to center. If you have a glass of water nearby, have a sip of water with me. If you don't have any water, don't worry about it. Just you can imagine what it feels like when you're a little thirsty and you have that sip of water, right? It's very nice when you're thirsty to have a sip of water. So just bring that to mind or have an actual sip. And now I'd like you to take a moment and focus on the sounds you can hear. Obviously, one of them is my voice, but I'm going to be quiet a couple of seconds and I'd like you to listen to what sounds you hear no matter where you are and see if you can pick out the sound that's the furthest away. Just notice what sound is it that's the furthest away from you. And then let's shift and focus on the sound that's closest to you. What sound might be closest to you? And for me, I'm in a very quiet room to record, but the furthest away sound is something happening a little bit down the road, and the closest sound is probably my air circulating in the room. So, these techniques of focusing on your senses, on something external to you, these and the other ones I'm going to walk you through today are proven to help you lower that physiological response. And so let's take a moment and just focus on what we can smell. And it might be almost nothing, or you might be near something that smells strongly, but just take a minute and see what you notice with your sense of smell. And if you have something near you that smells nice and you want to bring that to your nose and smell it, that's fine. And if you don't, it's okay too. It's really just noticing. Okay, so now I would like you to come back to the self hug. And if you'd like, you can just mimic me. It's a very slow, gentle, calm tapping. And if you're an animal lover, I would like you to bring to mind petting your favorite animal. You can close your eyes and do this for a second. And if you don't like to pet animals, we have an alternate for you. So you can just bring to mind being in a beautiful place, a garden, the seashore, whatever you're bringing to mind, just close your eyes and really think about the sensory experience. So if you're petting a pet, right? Feel what that feels like. Really bring it to mind. If your beautiful place is at the ocean, just really focus on the sounds you can hear. And if you're comfortable taking a deep breath as you're picturing these things, that would be great. And as you're doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit about breathing. And some people actually feel a little bit anxious when they try to focus on their breathing in these exercises. And if you have that anxiety, it's okay. Stay with me as I'm talking. And really, this goes for all of you listening. If you're feeling your anxiety go back up, you can rewind to one of the things we just did that might have helped you and watch that again. And if you can just stay with me and listen, that's great too. So, a lot of the time, the advice to people having panic attacks is to take a deep breath. And that's not actually the right advice. So, what we really want to do is we want to breathe a little bit more slowly on the exhale. So, a lot of times when you say take a deep breath, somebody will take a very long, deep inhale and then exhale quickly, and that won't be helpful. Now, as we talk about these breathing techniques, if you feel like, oh, I can't do them right, don't worry about it. There is no way to do these wrong. Okay? So, we're going to try a couple. Just know that your body does know how to breathe and it breathes differently. in different situations. So if you're very anxious, your breathing is going to be anxious breathing, but that is actually your body kind of obeying or doing what it should if you're anxious. But rather than telling ourselves we're just doing it wrong, we're just going to sort of try to treat our breathing as if it's that puppy that we're petting and calming down. Okay. So I'm going to lead you through what I think is a very useful breathing tool, breathing technique for when you're feeling anxious. So you're going to take your hand, and on the inhale, you go up the finger. On the exhale, you go down the finger. Inhale and exhale. Now, your rhythm will be different than my rhythm, and that's okay. What I'd like you to focus on initially, and again, this definitely does not in any way have to be perfect, just focus on it being regular, okay? So we'll start together if we can. Let's do an inhale and an exhale, and an inhale and an exhale. Okay, so just keep doing that, inhaling on the up, exhaling on the down. And I'm going to have you slow that down. So you go up and then have the exhale a little bit slower, nice and even, but slow. Up and then down. Now you can do this a couple more times. See if anything is shifting for you, right? And again, you don't have to match my rhythm. So just notice what has shifted for you as you've done that exercise. Okay, so one more breathing exercise, and then I'm going to give you a little bit more information, and hopefully you're feeling much calmer. And please let me know in the comments if you're feeling calmer having gone through this. And if you don't feel like you're quite calm enough, replay, replay those sections that helped the most. You can go through the whole thing again. But the reason I walked you through these is that the most important thing to do if you are actually in the middle of panicking is to calm the body. Now, we'll need to work with the thoughts as well, but working with the thoughts will be facilitated if your body is feeling calmer. And before I go to that last breathing exercise, I also want to talk to the people who might be watching this anticipating that they're going to have a panic attack. So, if you are having that anticipation, the most important thing for you to do right now is to use some of these techniques to calm more physically and then to begin to work more focused manner with your thoughts, because those thoughts of anticipating having a panic attack, that's actually what causes them for the most part. They might feel like they hit out of nowhere, but you've already been anticipating it. That anticipation, which is anticipatory anxiety, right? You are worried about something that might happen. It's not happening now. And I can point you to a video I have on that. But that anticipation is causing your body to think it has to get ready to run. So you're beginning the whole physiological cycle that can eventually lead to the panic attack. So, again, if you're in the middle of one, focus on the physiologically calming techniques. If you're feeling better and you want to work with your thoughts, listen a little bit longer, and then I'm going to point you to another video. And when you're working with your thoughts, I think most people's thoughts fall into one of two categories. Well, maybe three. One is that something's physically wrong with you. So, if you're having panic symptoms and you think there's something physically wrong with you, and you've already been to a doctor, you've already been told that there's nothing other than the anxiety, then we have to begin to treat that thought as part of the anxiety. Other people panic about other people noticing their panic. So the biggest concern is somebody going to notice that I'm panicking? And really, for all of these thoughts, a lot of the work is longer term. But in general, people just don't pay as much attention to us as we think they might. So generally, people do not notice if somebody else is panicking. And if they do, they usually have a very concerned and compassionate response. And the last thing I've really seen people worry about is this fear of I'm going crazy or I might lose control, mentally lose total control. Nope, it is a pretty common disorder and it's a panic disorder. And as soon as you can begin to separate some of these thoughts from the physiological symptoms, and then if the physiological symptoms kick in quickest, working with interpreting them differently, interpreting them as, oh, my body is having that overblown response. So I hope that this helped you physiologically calm somewhat. And for more help on really overcoming panic disorder forever, which is possible, I'm going to point you right here to another video on this topic. I really want you to know you can do this. And oh, by the way, if this video helped, please do hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's a big help, and I'll talk to you soon.